Daniel Hannan brilliantly responded to groans by spectators as he talked up the Prime Minister's Brexit success so far, by pointing out there were some Remainers in the audience. Boris Johnson travelled to Germany and France this week to meet with Angela Merkel and Emmanuel Macron to try to break the Brexit deadlock. Speaking on BBC's Any Questions, Tory MEP Daniel Hannan was asked whether any progress had been made this week on Britain's departure from the EU. As Mr. Hannan responded, some audience members were overheard shouting out and groaning, to which the Conservative MEP delivered a sharp reply. Mr. Hannan said, "What a change. What a different body language. What a different feel. I spent this week speaking to some officials who were involved with the Brexit preparation on our side. These were, as far as I could tell, people who voted Remain, or were really keyed up to not like the new Prime Minister, and almost despite themselves, they were standing up straighter with their shoulders back because they were responding to a sense of purpose and direction coming from Downing Street." Some members of the BBC audience were overheard groaning and shouting out at the Tory MEP, sparking a furious response. Mr. Hannan said, "Obviously there are one or two Remainers such as those in the audience who are desperately unhappy by any good news and desperately want things to be as bad as possible. But, I have to say, on the basis of what's happened since the vote, the pessimists have been proved wrong and I think they will be again. All of the terrors of the earth that we were told would happen in 2016 have not come about." During his answer, Mr. Hannan continued to be interrupted by some members of the audience, but received a big applause after his point. Mr. Hannan finished, "The answer to the question is we are leaving on the 31st of October. The only question is whether we do that with a deal, which I think is preferable. That, of course, is up to the other member states." Sitting on the panel, Labour's Shadow Home Secretary Diane Abbott claimed the UK was not getting anywhere after Mr. Johnson's visit to the continent. On Wednesday afternoon, Mrs. Merkel, the German Chancellor, hinted Mr. Johnson had 30 days to try to overcome the Northern Ireland border issue. But, on Thursday, Mr. Macron said the withdrawal agreement and Irish backstop are not just technical constraints or legal quibbling but are genuine, indispensable guarantees to preserve stability in Ireland and the integrity of the single market. He said the Brussels bloc had always said that it was available to discuss, depending on the wishes of the UK, our future relationship. Mr. Johnson said that he wanted a Brexit that was as pain-free as possible whether or not there was a deal. He said, "A great deal of work has already been done to ensure that the transition on the 31st of October is as smooth as it possibly can be, and so there are already agreements on aviation, on financial services, many other sectors." He added, "It is vital for trust in politics that if you have a referendum then you should act on the instructions of the voters, and that is why we must come out of the EU on the 31st of October, deal or no deal, and then, of course, we can't take our relationship forward. Let's get Brexit done. Let's get it done sensibly and pragmatically and in the interests of both sides, and let's not wait until the 31st of October. Let's get on now in deepening and intensifying the friendship and partnership between us." Mr. Johnson met the two EU leaders ahead of the 45th G7 summit, which will take place at the coastal city of Biarritz on the 24th of August to 26.